This meeting is called to order at 6:31 p.m. Monday, July 10th, 2017. This meeting is being recorded. Move to accept the minutes of the July 3rd meeting as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The minutes of last week's meeting are accepted. We're going to skip ahead in the agenda here. And Jim?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, I just got a couple quick things for you. You got a estimate that needs to go before you on a quote for fixing in front of the PD. For an ice breaker, so we don't have the snow. The way the snow comes down, the correct way to do it is to redo the whole roof, but we're certainly not gonna do that. The way it comes off the big roof on the little roof should go beyond the door, then we wouldn't have any of this issue. But they need to put something to stop the ice from coming down big clumps. And A.J. Johnson was asked back when we had the ice buildup to put an estimate in, and it just came in. So, and there's an estimate for it.
1,000.
Nothing that we could do this year, would have to be something budgeted for.
Right, $1,453.16. All right. Do we have the money in the budget?
No, that's what I say, it was
No.
something that has to be budgeted for next year.
Okay. All right. So
Here's the estimate.
we'll just put that aside and put it in the file for next year, and somebody else can worry about it.
Next, I have an estimate here for the damage down to the community center from a couple of weeks past where the door closure got ripped out of the door. Jamb, the door jamb has to be pulled out. This is from DA Brothers, the only estimate I got so far. We can go further if you want, or
Okay, well,
whatever.
$600. I don't think you're gonna beat it by much.
You got to pull the whole door jamb out and rebuild the top of it because it busted the top of the jamb.
All right. So this says repair of exterior door jamb enclosure requires removal of interior door trim, epoxy head jamb back together, and Bondo fill, new paint on jamb, and longer closer lags for $600. Curtis, you have any questions on this?
Dave looks confused. I'd like to get a couple more bids on it. See
Okay.
if we can.
All right. Well,
Bring the price
Jim has
down.
tried that.
We can do that if you want. We can go for more.
Barb, any questions?
Whatever you want to do.
I'll make a motion
Go ahead.
to look for more bids or make some phone calls with the book that we have if needed be.
Okay.
So
As long as it's the same exact work.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody okay with that? All right.
Yes.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Third, I have Joe Soboleski down here, the Troy Attic approached me about, he wants to put a couple of signs. One of which is going to be on a big sign for the truckers, to where the truckers can turn.
Right.
I can't give permission for anything off of Route 12, but where they turn onto Old Wickham Road, it wants to put a sign there as well, because when they're turning in there, they can't make the corner, and they get all jammed up. And they used to have a tree to hit. Well, they don't have a tree no more. The tree's gone, but now we put up a big concrete post, which is in the ground for about 4 feet. So chances are they're gonna pay attention once they hit it. But if not, by the time we work with the water department in August, we're gonna be removing that hydrant closer to Route 12, and then the hydrant will be in aim. So we wanna put some signage in, or he wants to put some signage in, and he wants to know if he's got to come in for special permission or anything for it. They're only 2x2 signs, but he had such an issue the last time when he tried to change some signs on the post that so.
Is there a minimum?
Thoughts on that?
I don't think there's a minimum,
that's
but being
below.
that it's Route 12, you'd have to go DOT, wouldn't he?
Excuse me?
As you said, it's 12, right? The
On
section.
Route 12, he would have to
Go to DOT.
talk to DOT about it.
But this is around the
But
corner
it's
of
out
Wickham
of the
Road.
right
Right
of
on the
way.
corner, I don't think there's a minimum. It's just the size of it when it's lighted. So you should be fine with Wickham.
before any new sign can be erected or placed in Troy, a permit from the Selectmen is required according to their permit application procedure as set forth in paragraph H. Certain signs do not require a permit but are nevertheless subject to the provisions of this section as described in paragraphs D and E for our sign ordinance. No sign shall be located so that it creates a traffic hazard. No privately owned sign may be located in the right-of-way area of any street or road.
His sign, I believe, is out of the right of way now.
Any sign that it advertises or identifies products, businesses, services, or activities that are no longer sold or available on the premises shall be removed within 60 days. After notice of the Selectmen, all signs must be constructed of good material, neatly lettered and maintained in good condition and repair. Any signs used for campaign or demonstration purposes must be handheld and removed after conclusion of the event.
Why can't we just send him a letter and a copy? And then he can get back to us. How's that?
Traffic control signs.
He had the signs already made up. And that's
Oh,
why
he
I said I
did.
saw them, and he just didn't want to put them up till he got permission.
Well, it sounds like he just needs to fill out a permit request, and
He's done.
it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay. And the last thing I got is there's a subject that's, I guess, inquiring about purchasing property in town by the quarry, the quarry stone, and wants to get permission to put divers in the quarry to see exactly what's in there. And I told him that a better thought would be to just get the findings of DES when they had divers in there in the year 2000 when we did our landfill closure.
Right.
But does he have to come in for special permission if, in fact, I can't get the
Who are we talking about?
subject from Keene, Dickie Davis,
A potential purchaser.
purchaser of the property, yes.
All right. Well, since it's our property, we'd have to give permission for him to do it. I don't have a problem with it.
Otherwise, you'd have a liability.
See it?
I think you'd have a liability. Because
That's what that was the thought I had, what the liability
Yeah.
was.
you would have to have permission, maybe a waiver. That would get a diver. Something
Something
happened.
as simple as a waiver,
Yeah.
could sign and then could
Yeah.
do that.
Because otherwise,
How fast does he want to move on this?
I think he's pretty hot on getting started on it.
All right.
Although legally that doesn't protect us 100%.
No,
You
but I
can
think we
sign
need
a
to do
waiver, you
something.
can
All
still
right.
sue.
Well, it's still-
Alyssa, would you
should say
contact
something.
Primex tomorrow and see if we are covered for liability on this issue?
That's a better idea.
Something needs to be done, though.
The insurance company says, okay. That's all we care about.
Okay.
Okay.
So Alyssa will get back to me on that one.
Yep.
And the last thing I got, actually Bobby's got it, is about a fence down by the community center.
Yeah, are we sure the town owns it or that
Yes.
that he owns it?
I believe that the fence that's down on the south side of the community center, there was two fences there. I took one down when we enlarged the parking lot,
Right.
which was ours. And I believe the fence that's there now is owned by the new purchaser of that property.
The next door neighbor.
Right.
Yeah.
And he wants to take it down and replace it with
8-foot vinyl.
an 8-foot vinyl fence.
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't own it, and he may need guidance as far as going to the planning board. Does he need that for the fence, or?
Side the fence just 1 foot from the property line.
Is there a maximum height on a fence?
Good maximum height.
You have to put the good side out too,
Yeah,
correct?
good side out, 1 foot from property line. The idea is so they can maintain their property without damaging.
I think that's the one I don't have in here.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. As far as ownership goes, if in the unlikely event that we own that fence,
Yeah,
I think if we can just do the verbal equivalent of a quitclaim deed and tell him if it is ours, he can take it down. We can vote on that, but let's see first of all if the fence he wants to put up is legal.
I think, I can't think of the guy's last name, but his first name was Ernie, that had that house put in there, had that fence put up. I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah. Well, you said there was another fence along there.
Yeah, I took that one down when we did the parking
Yeah,
lot.
it wouldn't make sense for one
Right.
property owner to put up 2 fences.
Right.
I don't think that's gonna be the issue. But I know in some places there is some municipalities have an ordinance that you can't put up a fence more than, say, 6 feet.
On Troy's website.
And is a permit required to put up a fence?
I don't know off the top of my head. We haven't actually came into a fence yet,
No.
I don't believe so.
so.
Check the data.
How fast does that property owner want to move on this fence?
Well, they just purchased it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, they just moved in last
You mentioned it a
weekend.
couple of months ago, then, when we got the place, we were talking last night, he said he was gonna take the fence down, so I just wanna make sure who owned it, for one thing, and then,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a good idea, it'll be a better looking fence than what we've got.
Yeah, much nicer.
Actually,
Yeah.
Jim, before you do go, we got one more thing for you.
Okay.
So that, it's good.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's table this till next week and we can research the ordinance to see if there is a maximum height on it.
Okay.
As long as he's not in that big a hurry, there's no point.
I haven't talked to him, Bobby has.
I've talked to him a couple times, but.
Yeah, I don't want to do the research during the meeting.
Right.
Okay.
'Cause
And the last time we got to meet as well.
We're gonna be talking about the signs for the Samuel E. Paul Community Center for the no smoking. This is one of the proposals, but we don't know what the numbers. We were just wondering, like, between you and Bob, if you come up with a number and we can get back to James Scamps.
Number of how many?
The-
we-
How many we're
correct,
gonna
Jimmy.
need.
Yes.
And this is in color, what it's gonna look like. If anybody's interested.
Can we put it on the deck? We can put it on the building, but can we put it on the rail of the deck?
I think we can make brackets that we can put it, the rails, yeah,
Okay.
the uprights.
You want at least 1 or 2 at the
At
entrance to going into.
Definitely need them there.
And probably on the other side of the dam,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah, there's a
people that
post
walk
out
in.
there, we could put one on.
So-
With the,
So what do you thinking, 10?
I think 10 would be sufficient.
Now, if we have to pay for them, that's $3.50.
I believe it's free.
Yeah,
Because
I think
she
she-
said she would make them and provide them, and the posts, I believe, also is what she told us originally.
For the most part, we're not
And
gonna
help
need
with the
any
ordinance.
posts.
No,
No, because we can put them on what's already existing.
yeah,
Okay.
Well, how about putting together a list, not just of how many you need, but where they're going to go
yeah.
and what other hardware you will need for, then we can tell her exactly what we need.
I can go down and meet with Bob tomorrow and we can walk it,
Okay?
Sure.
all right?
All right.
I want to ask him about School Street, 25 School Street, about the 2 driveways from last week.
The one with the 2 driveways, what was the question again that we were gonna ask? I honestly,
But I have a
I've been on
question.
military,
If
so-
you're thinking, while you're thinking about that, is that house owned, are those 2 apartments? Or it is 2 apartments?
It's always
Okay,
been 2
and-
apartments.
Okay, well, what I was thinking is it's not like condos where each
No.
person owns a side.
No.
Okay.
Cindy say this is old place.
Yeah, it's been 2.
It's always been 2 apartments?
In the 60s, when
Okay.
Johnny Kosky lived there, it was 2 tenement. It's always been 2 tenement,
Okay.
to my knowledge.
Okay, you're on, Curtis.
I know. Give me a second. Let me look in my notes from last week.
Chop chop, boy.
I believe it was when the second driveway was put in.
Yes. When, do you remember when that second driveway was put in? Because that looked like the new material.
It was, I
You said-
believe, late summer, early fall of last year. I couldn't be certain. You could talk to Bob Stearns, who's right across the street. He'd probably give you the date it was put in.
And did you do a permit for that?
No.
No?
Nope.
Because I forgot what the exact wording that we were gonna use.
I think the other question was whether they had dug down or just drove over and poured material on top of the grass.
Right. Well, it looks like there's all brand new material that was
They
brought
put
in.
stone in there, I can see that, but I don't know what they, as far as what they dug down.
But does that even make a difference?
When I did my notes.
Somebody already speak to them, because I noticed they cleaned up the left side.
You know,
Yeah,
I-
everything disappeared. Actually, some of them moved out back. Dump truck stuff's out back,
And
right behind the garage.
What about the camper?
I don't know where the camper went. The dump truck, everything else is out back. I saw that because I took the kids down to the parking lot with bikes. But I don't know where the camper went. Unless they've been listening to this.
do you remember when it went in? No.
That's what it is. It loads.
Don't show me the song, even though I got my chair that way.
Wishing you didn't give it up.
The second job we just tabled for next week, that's all I have for notes. All I have is there's 2 driveways on there, and they're only allowed 1 curb cut for each driveway per structure. And we actually tabled it because we didn't know where we were gonna actually go with this. I don't remember exactly the other thing I was gonna ask.
I don't
off the
remember
top of my
either.
head. And apparently I didn't write it down. So I say we just write them a letter and say, hey, you need to fix this. 1 driveway has to go. The second one.
All right. All
No
right.
permit was requested at all, right? So,
What do you mean?
so then they'll have to go backwards with it and.
All right, I'll write the letter, because I can be tactful about it. And I'll just say, it's been brought to our attention, et cetera, et cetera. If this is the case, please take action or come see us and talk to us about it.
Letter. All right. I think that's all I got for that one.
Okay.
Okay, I have one thing, and it's not a question, I think we're out of luck where the dam is concerned, but they're still in, Rock Pond,
Yeah,
okay? They're still looking for the license,
okay.
okay, to see if that was issued. Nobody can seem to find record, that's our sticking point right now. If we can't find it, we may have a dream, but right now we don't,
Okay,
okay? All right, that's
very
it.
good. Have a good night.
So,
Thank you, Jim.
Jim.
Troy Historical Society.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
We're requesting the at Boston Post cane to be displayed at the Kimball Hall.
Okay.
John Saget had built a cabinet many years ago, specifically for cane.
Right, and I believe that's it? Yep,
Nice.
yeah. I was over there a few weeks ago and saw it. It is very nice. I move that we move the Boston Post cane to Kimball Hall to be displayed by the Troy Historical Society.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I
Aye. There it is.
And there will be a front on it, a piece of plexiglass and
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
And we hope to put plaques with all the recipients' names on
Hmm?
the cabinet.
Okay. And you had a second item up for,
And look for the newest recipient.
Yeah, who is the newest recipient? I think Isabel? Does she have a certificate? Because you don't give the cane out anymore. They used to give the cane out,
Right.
but so many got lost for various reasons. And
Right.
so that's why we have one in the town, and the people get a certificate, and they can have the picture taken with the cane, but they have to
Right.
give the cane back.
Right.
So,
And we'll just do that at Kimball Hall instead of here.
well, I don't, it still could be the selectmen's.
Yeah, you still could come back here for a ceremony or
Right.
something,
With-
sure.
When it was presented to Ira Olson, there was we were still having the arts festival at that point, and I
Yeah.
believe there was a to-do about
Right.
that with him. And then I went up afterwards, and he was presented with a very nice plaque and everything,
Yeah.
at his house. We took some nice pictures.
Okay.
So I don't know if you're interested in seeing any of those pictures to see how it was done the last time, or if you want to just
Well,
come up with.
yes, but not until the next time.
Right, yeah, no, exactly, that's why,
Maybe we could display them with the cabinet.
yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
And is the cane something we can take today, or?
Sure.
come
Yeah.
tomorrow
Yeah.
Allan,
night?
can you stand up there and reach it, please?
I just thought it might be interesting when the Boston Post started doing this, they had a form for people to fill out. And I had to change some of the wording because it wasn't appropriate for this time, like,
Thank you, Allan.
it was only, men were mentioned, just venerable men, so I added women. Because
Nice.
most of our recipients have been women. And then it said that they will present an interesting galaxy of vigor and longevity of New England manhood. I changed it to life. But it was very
We're so
interesting.
21st century here.
Yes, yes. It was very interesting reading about how it came about
Yeah.
and how they distributed. There were 700 canes given to New England towns, and they were asked to give it to the oldest
Mhm.
citizens of each town. So it's pretty, wow.
Now, Lynn, you're holding that cane. Are you getting ready for the big day?
I am, couple
Okay.
more years practicing, and it'll be mine.
Okay. Now, the Historical Society
For a long time.
had you had a second item on the agenda for tonight.
Yeah.
It says the Troy Historical Society requests that a picture of Kimball Hall be on the cover of next year's town report, and that you'll provide a photo of the building.
Yes.
Does anybody have anything to say about that?
I don't have a problem, other than we're not that close, and,
Yeah, we are.
well, no.
Remember last year?
Not to go to the printers, we are.
No.
But as long as we would not have anything,
Well, Allan already said that, yeah.
Earth shaking.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's fine, if
Okay.
there's nothing else.
All right, then I move that the cover of next year's town report be a photo of Kimball Hall, providing a suitable photo is supplied by the Troy Historical Society.
I'll second it.
Yeah,
All in
I'll
favor?
send files
Sorry,
to,
what?
I'll send files to Alyssa of the photos.
Okay, all in favor?
We said aye.
All right, motion carries. Okay. Does the Historical Society have anything else for us tonight?
That's it. You want some more?
Can I,
Do you wanna bring up about that sign out in the, there's a sign, I don't know if you noticed it out in front of the fire truck? I found it's outside by
Yes.
the door one day,
I
and
was
I
gonna
grabbed
paint,
it and put it in. I mean, it's something that used to be on the front of the town hall years ago. Jimmy, we've tried looking, it's on that photo up there, but it's been gone for a long time. I don't know where it ended up, but
it came down when they painted the building.
no, it wasn't
Oh,
up
he,
there.
Jimmy said Gideon took it down when he painted the building.
Well, that's what I asked, and nobody
That's-
seemed to know.
He didn't
I
tell
know
me
I've
that.
seen it on the
I asked him
wall.
today,
I don't
and-
know.
No, Jimmy said no.
Yeah.
No, he didn't know when it was taken down, and,
Oh,
I mean, those,
well, would you like to take
the
it or?
covers,
No, I think it should be put back on the town hall.
I was going
and
to
maybe
paint the
fix
frame, I was gonna fix it
some-
The
and,
owls will
the
have to be
hours and
fixed.
stuff.
yeah, you'd have
Yeah.
to do the
I
hours
think
all
that's
over.
a
I just
nice
thought it was
addition
a
to the
historical thing. So it should go, not us change it with, we have times and stuff out there, or, and put it in this, because it is historical. I mean, it's,
right, I think the frame needs to be fixed though.
But I think you're still
Is it
keeping the
carved in?
history of it
No, it's painted.
No, it's someone hand painted it.
stenciled.
When I say if it's carved, I don't think you'll change it.
But I think it's still historical being on the building. And whether you change the hours up to what present day is, I don't think that's gonna take the historical.
Well, if you're changing it, it would be. It's not gonna be the original
But it's
sign.
probably not the original
Not unless we
sign
change
anyway.
the original time, right?
That's up to you.
I guess
you
I'd have to look
you
at it
want
again,
yeah,
see what
because
the,
it's
out there.
yeah.
All right.
So,
And we can put that on the agenda for a future meeting. All right.
Add it to the list.
Can I ask just one quick
Sure.
question, totally unrelated to Historical Society? I noticed that there's a certificate of right to inter. Do you know, does that replace the cemetery deeds? Is it something in addition? Is it something I should contact the?
You should have asked Jim before he left.
about?
Yeah, that's a Jimmy question.
So he's still cemetery trustee? All right, I'll contact him and find out. It would be good to know, thank you.
All right. Aaron?
Yes, sir. Can I get a chair in here somewhere?
And I'll grab a couple more chairs.
Okay, so I'm Aaron Patt, I'm a trustee of trust funds for the town of Troy. And I live up on South Main Street. I was copied on an email to the select board earlier today from the Attorney General's office. So the Attorney General's weighed in on the Giorgiani gift, which I understand has been a little contentious. So this isn't a meeting where I'm speaking on behalf of trustees, but they were the ones that tasked me with talking with the DRA and with the Attorney General's office. So I've had several conversations with Terry Knowles, and if you have any questions about the email and the information she provided, I'm more than happy to talk about that.
Okay, thanks. And we've read this over, and I'm surprised that we're still waiting to move this money, but I think the email is clear.
So what happened was we sat down as a board, the trustees, and Norm, our chair, and had a conversation with you all and was excited to undertake that process. At the time, the direction was based on the town meeting vote, so that was for the expendable trust fund. So we said, there's some parameters around which you can invest in capital reserve funds and expendable trust funds, which is different than when you invest money that's in a trust. So for instance, we're one of the bright lights for Troy in terms of not so much where we are today, but the people who've come before us, Ivor Olson,
Yes.
he was tremendous in terms of his stewardship of the cemetery fund, for instance, and grew it tremendously. And there's about $1 million or more in that account. Don't hold me to any numbers tonight. So there's been a long track record of success with the trustee of trust funds. So I'm coming in late to that party, but now I have been a trustee for a number of years and trying to build on the good work that they've done. And obviously this gift is significant for the trustees as well as for the town, and we'd like to do the right thing. So during our discussion, we talked about our understanding of what you can do with an expendable trust fund. So we decided that before we move forward with that and receive the money from the town, we'll just touch base with the Attorney General's office, the charitable trust division, because that's the division that oversees what we do. And we just wanted to verify one thing, which was when you take money from an expendable trust and you're holding on to it, if you're going to do any investment, our understanding was you can do only those things that are guaranteed, and also that remain liquid. So that kind of gives us CDs, short-term CDs, and treasuries. The yields on those are
pretty insignificant compared to some of the other type of work that we do on the regular trust for the library or for the cemetery. So I called Terry Knowles to just verify that that was the case. And her first statement to me was, well, I hope the DRA didn't tell the town that they could put that money into an expendable trust fund. So I had a list of bullet points, and I said, well, that kind of makes my questions irrelevant, so why don't you tell me, give me some information that I can work with and either go back to the select board or go back to the DRA representative. And so I ended up speaking to Jamie Dow, who I believe has spoken to a number of people here in town about this particular issue, and she's the Department of Revenue Administrative representative for the town. And at first discussion, she was going to send another letter to the town. For those people who don't know, the DRA will send a letter after town meeting, either ratifying, not ratifying per se, but letting you know that everything went smoothly for your warrant articles, or in the case of any amendments or language problems with your warrant, they'll tell you about that. And they generally call that letter the disallow letter, because generally it's the things that didn't go well that they highlight. And her words to me was that she thought she was going to have to send another letter because the whole question of that expendable trust fund as a warrant for the expendable trust fund for that gift was really not, it wasn't really valid. So there was, what Terry told me was that the only monies that go into expendable trust fund or capital reserve funds are taxpayer funds. So that's what you raise from taxation, and that's the only type of money, because that's what the law provides for. This particular gift that came to the town of Troy was, in fact, a gift. It was a request from a will from a lady out in, I guess, Nevada. And that's a different set of rules, a different RSA that governs that particular type of monies. And that doesn't invalidate the fact that when the select board first received the monies, it was considered unanticipated funds. So up until the end of 2016, whatever actions you took that have since been considered and gone over, and I guess you've got money back and done all that sort of stuff. But up until then, or shortly after, there's a balance to that money that belongs now in its own fund, is basically what the Attorney General is saying in that email. So I called Jamie at the DRA and I said, are you in fact now going to do anything else? Are you going to notify the town? And she said she'd spoken to Terry Knowles, and Terry said that there's no more letters that are necessary. The town has the directives that it needs in order to move forward. So to clarify Terry's email to me and to you and to the treasurer, I asked her one additional question, and I hope you received that in an email because I forwarded it to the town. And I said, we just want to get some clarity on what the amount is. So at the town meeting, my understanding was that there was an amendment from the floor, and I think it was on behalf of the treasurer or someone like that who knew what the balance of the total amount available was of $544,290. And so the only discrepancy that I am aware of is that the treasurer had come and met with the trustees at one point some time ago now, and had a spreadsheet, and the number that she said was the maximum amount was not quite $2,000 or about $2,000 more, so $546 and some odd dollars. So the only question that I have right now is it the $544,290 or is it this other number that the treasurer has on her spreadsheet? And but based on that email and based on those conversations, we'd like to come in, the trustees would like to come in and sit with the board at your next meeting. We'd like to just formalize this so that it's board to board and it's not me as a representative. But to, just get this thing put to bed and put a bow on it. And in the meantime, if we could find out, or if you all could find out some information on that slight discrepancy in the number, to see if that larger number is in fact available. That would be ideal.
Do you know what that number is, by any chance?
It's 546 and some dollars. I don't remember exactly what it was. She had a spreadsheet that she provided.
We'll just find out the current
Well, 'cause
amount right now.
in the email from Janet, the treasurer and everything, she has the revenue of 544,290.
Right.
But he was saying
She presented us with a different spreadsheet, which was
Right.
slightly different, a little tiny bit more. But 544,290 is what it can be at the base, because that's
town meeting.
that's where we came from.
Right.
But I just want to make sure that we're not missing some transaction that got returned or whatever the facts might be.
Okay.
So, and what I wanted to do tonight was to make sure if you had any questions for me, and so that the trustees at least could weigh in on those emails that you have. They outline a number of RSAs. She goes through a lot of detail about how it works.
Is that what you have there, Curtis?
I got a printout from the balancing of total cash on hand that Janet gave me, and it says the actual for the Giorgini bequest money on hand was $544,296.91.
And when
$7 discrepancy.
Right.
So, okay, so I'll ask her for the other spreadsheet, and we'll just try and get that put together.
All right. Yes. This is 3 different numbers now.
Yeah. So my question is, what do we have to do right now?
Well, at one point we'd been given an email from Jamie saying, asking the trustees not to accept any of the funds. And my understanding at that point was that they were going to reach out to the select board and give you more information. She went to a convention. She was co-presenting with Terry Knowles, and they talked while they were at the convention, and discovered that this expendable trust fund was not going to be a vehicle for this particular amount of money, given its So the answer to your question is I'd like to get that number finalized. So
Okay.
that when we come in next week as a board, if we can get squeezed into your agenda, that we can come up with a number that we can all talk about.
Okay.
That is the, sort of the ultimate number that is going to go into the thing. And then from there, you do whatever your process is to cut that check and present it to Norm so that he can,
Okay.
to my chair.
Right.
Printing the check is the easy part.
Right. Getting the number might be.
Well, even the number, I think we can come up with the number, and if we're up by $7, I'm not going to worry too much about it.
We're not-
But my concern is, do we have to set up some kind of a trust fund?
No, we
now?
do that. We do that.
So we don't have to have some special town meeting to set up just a normal trust fund in lieu of the expendable trust fund. We just give you the check,
That's my
and you're good to go.
I believe so.
All right.
And if you need to follow up in the interim before your next meeting and talk to probably Terry, because all of these things are charitable trust divisions, so it's all
Right.
based on the laws that are outlined in that email.
Yeah.
They don't have anything to do with our preferences. They don't have anything to do with
Right.
the operating
Right.
budget or
anybody else.
with the municipal. It's not RSA 32. It's none of the things that govern your budgeting or your operating budget or anything like
Right.
that. Further, my understanding is that once the money's there, it'll be an unrestricted gift.
Right.
And one of the things that the trustees will want to discuss with the board is, I will bring it up if for some reason the other two don't get around to it or Norm doesn't have it on his sheet, but the advice of Terry in her email in particular, but also to me, was that the best thing that we can do as a town is decide how are we going to put parameters around that money if we are.
Mhm.
The downside of not putting any parameters on that money is that every time we have a budget process, that'll be figured in by everybody, you know, from petition warrant articles to department heads who want to do something huge, or the fire department wants to buy a new tanker or whatever. So it could very quickly be gone.
Dissipate.
And so what the trustees have always hoped is that, and I'm not telling anything out of school here, is that we could do something where, like the other trusts that we manage, we create funds, the income funds out of that money that can be used, and we protect the principal amount. So that would be our goal, if at all possible, and what Terry had suggested was for potentially the board to hold a public hearing, get all interested parties to someplace that can manage that number of people. And
It'll be right here, probably.
well, I would put it in the Peter Paul
Yeah.
place where you have seating if a lot of people want to show up, because I understand it was a little bit contentious. But they said whiteboard it out. Here's all, just take every single suggestion that you can possibly take and put it up on paper so that you're getting all the feedback.
Right.
So there's no disenfranchised parties from the public. And then, you know, use that as a forum and a place to leverage into some plan that can be put in place that we can adhere to. So, because we're going to get, you know, even if we put a plan in place and it's a plan that everybody agrees to and thinks
Right.
it's a great thing in a world of good, we're going to have, you know, we're going to have flyers. You know, we're going to have things that are going to come in from the outside. You know, whether we
Yeah.
have a
And no matter what we decide,
right.
3 years down the road, 3 other people can change their minds.
Right, so, you know, it's difficult to manage under those circumstances, and that's one of the reasons why going through that process and figuring out what we're gonna do. So in the meantime, it's my understanding that once it's in the trust, that it belongs in the account that is a trust, and is under the control of the trustee of trust funds, from there, even because it's unrestricted, it's available to be, you know, put forward as a warrant article and so on, but it does need to go to town meeting in order to have a vote
Right.
to be used. It's not something you can just use during the year. So it would be on the annual part of the budget process where that would come up.
Right.
So if at all possible, we would have a window of time from when that account is created to when we're in the budget season, or even during the budget season, before we get to the next town meeting where we could potentially have that public hearing. Get into some kind of a process where we're going through, you know, what will the plan look like if we're gonna put one together. And,
Okay.
you know, obviously I'm telling you the board, or the board will tell you, but we'd like, that's what we've talked about from day one, is the
Okay.
ability to, what we do with the library funds, for instance, is we take a portion of the earnings and we put it into the account, and then we take, you know, some sort of a portion of the earnings and we present it to the library as part of their budget for their books. So they know they're getting a certain number of dollars every year. It's not a hard and fast number every year because you know,
Right.
the market changes. But we're doing far better than we would if we were just saying, okay, we're going to give you $1,500 or $3,000. They've had anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000 on a fraction of the dollars that are potentially this gift.
Right.
So the gift, you know, if you're using 4% as a baseline, that tells you where you could be, you know, after a year of investing. The other thing is, until you get a plan in place, you know, we probably want to be very conservative with it, because any kind of more aggressive investment has fluctuation. So at any given time, you might find that it's below the number that you gave us versus it could go up to well above. So what we see is over time, and the average person in Troy, when they get their town report, is going to see the end number,
Right.
not the day-to-day number. So with a lot of scrutiny, the day-to-day number looks very different than the end-of-the-year number. So I want you to be aware of that. It's something to take into consideration about this window of time will transpire once we get this next step buttoned up to when we're in the budget
Aaron, I
process.
couldn't hear what you were just saying.
I wanted you to be aware of that, so that when we're in this window of time that comes just after we button it up, the money goes into a fund. Before we get into the budget season or before we get to town meeting, there's some time there that the select board should really look at. Will be our request to look at having some sort of community involvement for getting a plan around that, so that we don't have
Okay.
a lot of people vying for, significant dollars. If it turns out that a lot of people think that, like we do, that we can do a lot of good over a long period of time versus doing some good in a short period of time.
Right. I have a question now. If we were to take, we have a number discrepancy here, and I think we have 3 different numbers we're looking at. They're all somewhat close proximity.
4, yeah.
4 numbers,
Three,
okay.
4 numbers.
If we were to take the lowest of those 4 numbers, why can't we just print the check right now for that? And set up that fund, and then when we find out what the exact number is, we issue a second check for whatever small balance is remaining.
Well, I understand why you might want to do that, but one of the things that we discussed when we were having our meeting was we wanted to be doing everything directly by the book. So I think in the best interest of the board that I'm sitting here representing, my gut feeling, and it's just me, so I'm not prepared to take a check tonight. Or anytime too soon, because I would want Norm and everybody else to be informed on that. Our job at the time was to figure out what's the right thing to do with the amount of money that the expendable trust was going to be created, and how to do that. That since transpired that wasn't going to work out. So that just proves that we wanted to dot all the i's and cross all the t's. And I think we should bring the same process to your question and make sure that in a week's time we have a number that you can stand behind and that we can receive and that we can feel good about.
Okay.
I think it would be a little less. All of this is supposed to be very transparent, and it's also supposed to be something that everybody can trust in. And I think I would like to see that it could be something that you're very clear about, and that when we take it, there's no strings attached and no, things that are coming after. We found another $1. That's just my answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Curtis, do you have any questions of Aaron?
No.
Barb?
No, I think we should just table it until next
Until
week.
we'll set up a meeting. We won't need an agenda request for him. We'll just schedule them for. But we have the public hearing at 6:45. Probably Jake breaks. I don't think that will take very long. So why don't we plan on 7 o'clock
7 o'clock.
for next week? Do we already have anybody else on the agenda?
We do, but I have to change it anyways.
Okay, all right.
So if the board is coming, we'll try to get, if there's at least 2 of us, that's a quorum for us, and we need to have that posted as well. So
Okay,
if Alissa could post for the trustees,
okay,
and then I'll just reach out to Norm and make sure he gets to everybody and ensures that they can make that schedule.
okay, we can do
And
that.
we'll go from there.
All right. Does anyone else have any questions of Aaron concerning anything that we've been discussing? Okay, thanks, Aaron.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, Bob,
Yes.
I have you down here for roller skates.
Roller skates, yeah. We've got a good deal. We do the roller skating, we've been doing it for about 3 years. And we hire a guy to bring the skates. He gets the majority of the money for the night. His prices are $6 a rental and all that. Sometimes he shows up, other times, we've had a few times where we've had to do other things for the kids because there weren't any skates. So the rec committee went out and started looking around for maybe finding some skates somewhere, and Ray Saunders, who I thought was going to be here tonight, knew of an Indian tribe up in Maine that used to own a roller dome. And all the skates were just sitting around, and he was able to contact them, I believe it was last week, look at the skates, and he's got a price on them. They'll sell us 200 pair of skates, $10 a pair, $2,000. They're not brand new. Well, some of them look like they're brand new. I've seen the pictures, but they're the professional skates. They're not the Walmart $30 skates. They're probably, I don't know, Curtis, what do you think, 65 to 100, maybe even more a pair.
Right.
They're built to last, so they're the real good skates. So it's a good deal. I just wanted to throw that at you guys, get your blessing. We've got the money in the revolving fund to make that purchase. It'll be back in the kitty before the year's out, because this guy gets anywhere from 2 to, I would like to say 5, but I'll say 4, just to be conservative, $100 every time he does the skating. So that 2,000 will be back in our kitty right off, within the year. So
Okay.
I just wanted to run it by you guys. And
All right. Do you need a vote?
Do you guys want to see a picture of the skates real quick? I can.
Not really.
Well, just to show what kind of condition that they're in.
Yeah.
They're actually in really good condition.
Okay.
That's what we were
you get the picture right there.
well, I was looking for Ray's email because he sent it to, or a text message. He sent it to me. And,
Okay,
I won't know what I'm looking at. So.
I'll make a motion that we
Authorize the
authorize Bob.
rec department to use the revolving fund to purchase the skates at a cost of up to $2,000, or is it exactly?
It's 2,000.
2,000.
200 pair. The only thing we have to do is figure out what our most common sizes are and make sure we get enough of each of the common sizes and then a few of the uncommon sizes, so that we've got most everybody covered.
All right.
Okay,
All right. So that's your motion,
yes, second it.
and I seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Could you stick around for a bit?
Sure.
Because Curtis wants to bring something up later. At the end of this meeting, we're going to go into a non-public session, and we'd like you to be present for that.
Sure.
All right?
Yep.
In the meantime, I got a couple of things for the rec committee. These are gift certificates from Pizza Barn from the silent auction the other day.
Oh, really?
Use them however,
Nice.
however you want.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Now let's go back to the beginning of our agenda. Work our way down.
By the way, we do have air conditioning up there and a bigger room.
Okay. Well, we do. You know why the air conditioner is off? Because we're recording it and it interferes with the recording. We found
I
out.
just thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah. The one meeting that we had Curtis chair, you can't hear anything in that recording because of the air conditioner. We drowned him out.
Yeah.
Okay. Complaints on Richmond Road. We're still waiting on the nuisance ordinance.
Okay, I do have an update.
Okay. Good.
Okay, we are, with text, we are fine. The text of the nuisance ordinance,
okay.
everything is fine. What we are checking right now is the daily fee after the 30 days. We want to make sure we're within the parameters of what the state says.
Yeah.
So after I get the answer back for that, we're done. We can set our meeting and move forward. Okay?
Good. Okay, the Ridley map, Attorney Hawkinsmith.
No, nothing yet.
Okay, nuisance ordinance you
We
just
did
described.
that.
Job descriptions. For Curtis, do we have anything further on that?
No, I forgot them in my book again. I apologize.
Okay,
And I'm gonna be talking. I forgot to call MRI. I did bring it up to the budget committee.
Yeah.
And they give me some more information during that about what they spent with the email, which I think I shared last week. That
From Cheryl White?
yeah, she
Yeah,
said
we
something
talked about that last week.
Yeah, she said I got an email about just sending over Fitzwilliams job descriptions and going over that. And just comparing those, we might be able to save ourselves some money if we can
Sure.
just look at theirs. And
yeah, that's how we did the library job descriptions a few years ago. We got them from 3 or 4 different libraries and took what we liked and excluded what we didn't like.
So I'll call this week.
Okay. What I would like to do, because we're really getting behind the power curve here, is Alyssa's job description.
Okay.
Because we talked about this, and because she's in this office, we want to do hers first.
All right.
And that'll become the model of the format that we'll use for all of the others.
Guinea pig.
So as quickly as possible, I'll get her job description completed, and then we can do an evaluation.
Yes, because we're past due here.
Yep.
And then we'll know what process we're doing on everybody else. Okay. Okay, forensic audit, Jeff Graham's coming back on the 13th. That's Thursday this week, okay? No smoking policy, we've discussed. Mill tax bill. Do we have anything on that to discuss?
We have a letter, don't you have a letter from Si?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All right.
And you were going to forward that tax bill?
To all the other people that's
redevelopment?
on the
Right, to the lien holders
and all that stuff.
and the-
mortgage holders, whatever
Yeah,
they
to the redevelopment,
Okay.
are.
okay.
Is there, are you doing that?
Yeah. No, I thought Alissa, we were gonna have that because you have the tax bill.
We have the tax bill, but what do you want me to tell them?
Just an FYI, I guess, this is being sent to this person right here, just so they're aware of it, where it's going. I mean, it's gonna protect us when, in 3 years,
Okay.
it is tax
And-
deeded.
Did everybody read the letter that we got from the attorney? In there, the only person we really need to send that to forward it to, is the redevelopment, the group. The person that headed up the group at the time. And Si has his address and all the information in the letter, okay?
Okay, and this is quite lengthy, I don't want to read
Right,
this
you
whole
don't
thing.
wanna read
but
it now.
There's the letter if you want to look at that, Curtis. Okay, any further discussion on that for tonight?
No.
Okay, you already mentioned MRI, second driveway on School Street, I'm going to write the letter to them. That's 25, right? Number 25? Alissa, do you have the names of the property owners? Okay, would you give that to me before we leave tonight? Okay, fundraiser, I guess Mark is handling that, and Ben has already left, so I can't ask him about that. O'Brien building permit, is that
You
this?
guys just gotta sign off on it.
Yeah, it's good to go. The planning board didn't see any issues with it. I left a note, says it was good. What did I write? Oh, I wrote good to go. We didn't find any issues with it, so that was the only one I think that we left. The only one we did find an issue with
Okay.
was
Pappas.
Pappas, and I don't remember what it was. I left it on the
Okay,
note.
so this is O'Brien that you're signing right now,
Correct.
Barbara? Okay.
Setbacks.
Setbacks.
It's all thing.
We need a plot plan, setbacks.
So we just need your signature on this, Curtis, and that will be done. Okay, next joint loss management committee meeting is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Alissa and I will be attending that. Exhaust brake ordinances, public hearing is next Monday night at 6:45 p.m. Troy Redevelopment Group. Dick contacted all of the people who were on it during its last iteration, and nobody wants to be on it anymore.
Mike Walsh also sent out an email. He called me when he found out. I guess he
Yeah.
listened to the meeting or the word got out there.
Actually, it was Mike, not Dick, I'm sorry,
Right.
yeah.
He sent the emails out and trying to find out if people are interested, and so far Dick Thaxton backed out of it. Lisa Stearns, Rebecca Hackler. I don't know if Bob Stearns.
I think
He was on it?
he wasn't mentioned in the, Lisa's email just mentioned her and Becky, they work together, so.
Right, so
I'm assuming that Rob does not want to be in it, and Michael Stedman was also in there.
and I don't think we heard anything from Michael Stedman.
So who is on it?
Mike Walsh was the only one when I talked to him. He said he was still interested.
Okay,
As for, I don't know who else was on it at the time. That's when he CC'd me with the email and everything.
In that letter.
Right. So I didn't hear from anybody else besides the ones we just mentioned. So.
all right.
So,
Well,
table it.
let's wait until next week, see if he gets a hold of Michael Stedman.
And I don't know if Ben or Herb.
Mike was the treasurer of it.
I don't know if Ben or Herb heard anything new on that as well, because I know they were talking about they were interested in
Yeah.
on that.
Okay. All right, complaint letter, Brook Street, which we gave to you. That was a very interesting letter.
It is.
Okay,
You wanna talk about it?
sure, okay.
I'm ready.
Sure.
If you notice in the letter, okay, a lot of this says, we were told that. We were also told that. none of this, a lot of this stuff in this letter is nothing, they have no personal knowledge of this stuff. And some of the stuff they said in it is totally false.
Right.
And I look back, I think we've had 5 complaints since last summer. None of them, of course, something here said how the dogs attacked somebody. There was no report of that at all. And they're making false accusations that the reason that the police don't do nothing is because the person is a narc for the police department. That is totally false. The biggest stuff is there's like 3 different times they said, we were told. Nothing is that they've witnessed or saw. And another thing, yeah, like that there's 40 dogs at that residence. There isn't 40 dogs at the residence. I checked that out after I got this. There's 8 dogs, 4 are inside dogs. Apparently somebody, one of my guys, gave them the noise ordinance, and which doesn't even have anything to do with barking dogs. It's under the animal control ordinance, which states that it has to be a continuous annoyance through at nighttime, not during the daytime, at nighttime, for me to write a ticket for a nuisance dog. All these complaints have come in during the daylight hours. So I have been told that I can go and take a look, because it was also, we also were told that the dogs are living in despicable conditions. I've been told I can go and check them myself. The people have no problem with that. Okay, actually, if he wants to speak, I don't mind having him speak. He's here tonight. But a lot of the stuff I can deal with, that they don't like us, so that don't make a difference.
Okay, you said he's here tonight. Are you the dog owner or the complainant?
The dog owner.
Okay, all right.
And so I'm going to be looking into that, like he had told me I could. I'm going to go check, make sure, you know. But again, under that one was, we were told that the dogs are living in despicable, and there's 40 dogs there. There is not 40 dogs. My guy was there the last complaint, which was last Sunday, I think it was, not this past one, but the one before. And he didn't know dogs barking, nothing like that. And being in that neighborhood, this is the only people that have complained about those dogs. So it really looks to me as it's a personal vendetta. I mean, I have no problem writing tickets. Hey, the town gets the money. I make more money for the town. But there's no violations of any of our ordinances for the barking of the dogs. They also state in there that the dogs attack people, have attacked people. We've gotten no reports from anybody, and I know that if somebody other than them got attacked, they would definitely call us.
Yeah.
If somebody from the neighborhood or anything. We have had no reports of that at all. So I'll look into it a little more, and then what I can do is I can either give you like a report on what my findings were.
And then we'll send them a letter telling them.
And if you want to bring them in, I'll be glad to sit here and.
Well, what we'll probably do is I'll send them a letter.
Useless and everything else, which is fine. I've been told by better people. But
we'll send them a letter saying we've investigated your complaint and it's unfounded.
Yeah,
and if you have anything further you want to discuss with us, call, get on the agenda, and we'll discuss it in person.
Are the dogs licensed and up to date with the shots?
that is something I'm going to do tomorrow, is check with, but I talked to Courtney before, and he has a kennel license. And so I don't know what a kennel license includes. Of course, you have to prove all the dogs have their shots. I don't know. That's what I was going to just check with Ralph tomorrow and talk to Courtney some more. You know, just
in a kennel license, you won't find proof of shots with a kennel license. Because I've got.
I have to prove them.
Yeah, yeah, but the kennel license now you don't have
rabies certificates.
Yeah,
the town won't issue one without it.
Yeah, but you only have you can find one.
so you know, I'm going to do some more follow up on that part, just to, because I just didn't have time when I got this today to do it, only what I'd already done with, look up the ordinances and talk to Lisa and stuff like that. And I just wanted it brought up that everything a lot of this is, we were also told, well, hearsay don't go very far.
Right.
I mean, and again, it doesn't matter in this case, I guess, but when I would like to see whenever there's any complaints, because of course these come over email, it's hard to sign them. If there's complaints about the police department or anything like that the people sign a complaint. Because see, once you sign a complaint, then I can go and false report, charge somebody with false report.
Yeah.
And like a lot of this, I go, well, okay, you were told. Where's your facts coming from?
We can say, if somebody sends us an email, we can just make this a policy. Somebody makes an email complaint, we can say, come in and sign the email.
I would like to see that, only because of this, people just can't just send something and,
Well, I
especially
think
if I find out, because I'm going to look into it.
yes,
Yeah,
we
we
have
do.
a form,
Yeah.
and I
We
think
do.
just as we have done in the past, require, if you have a complaint, you come in and fill one
Can you
out.
email them
In
a
fact, we've got one here we're
complaint
gonna discuss in a
form? Can
second.
you email them a complaint form?
No, we're not going, no, Alissa has enough to do. No.
They are on our website, the town's website.
I don't know if the
They
form
are.
is up there or not.
Yeah, they are,
I'm just saying, because,
but they have to come in
This is the
and
complaint
bring
form.
it up.
That's an old one.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's
that
what
is
George
an old
filled out.
one. Yeah, that's not good.
That's something different.
Do we have anything updated?
Yeah, we have a.
Yeah, it's on the town
Okay.
website.
Couldn't you send one? If they feel they have a legitimate complaint, then they should fill out a form.
yeah, they should.
Yeah.
But they didn't send it to me, that's the
Right,
thing.
they sent it to
to
us.
the town hall.
They sent it here.
And so, that's why I'm
Oh.
saying, I hope there's, it will be said you have to sign a complaint. I mean, yes, if somebody comes in complaining about an officer or something, and I say, oh, here's a form, I have those forms for complaining about officers, it's different than.
Than ours.
Just theirs, and I have them, yep, come on in, give me a statement and sign
I
your
don't
name.
see it there, do you?
Well,
No.
do you, are you gonna be
All right, so
meeting these
it's
people?
not on the website.
It's up, whatever they,
You can scan it and add it.
Because you could say, you need to fill out a form.
Scan it as PDF.
see, if I was concerned, seeing they didn't contact me personally,
Right, honestly,
it's,
yeah.
This has
They
been going
want-
on for a couple of years now.
and it has, and a
This
lot
is-
of it,
I mean,
like
this
you
isn't
say.
the first time that they've reported it to the state police. I mean, we've been, the cops have been down over the last couple of years, they've been down there over 20 times. For, same situation.
And the same outcome.
I mean, and it's, coming from the same people and it's the same situation. Dogs get fed at a certain time and they all want to be fed first. I'm not gonna sit here and say they don't back at all, but I gotta live right, I sleep right there, so it's not like they're backing all, and I'm not gonna put up with it. My dogs are, Adam trains dogs too. I mean, it's just, as a dog trainer, you don't put up with it. We have devices, I have $100 devices, $300 to be exact. Each call is $300, back calls that get put on these dogs. If need be, you know what I mean? They don't run around with them all, but it don't take them long to
Learn, yeah.
Thing is, the other thing with these people, they don't like us anyway because we've had to call DCYF on them several times about their kids and stuff. So and that's why I'm not getting worked up about it or nothing like that. And I'll do an investigation on it and I'll hand it to you guys and you can
Dispose of it.
just do whatever, but I'd be glad to talk with them.
Okay.
I mean, and I'm sure they would even come in.
I
We all could meet
there's many of the things that happens on that side of the street that we could sit here and complain about. This could turn into a real Hatfield McCoy thing.
It could be,
You know what I mean? Honestly,
it could.
I try to be the bigger person and just stay on my side of it, and because the way the lady speaks to her children, it's not even fit for jails.
The thing that she yells across the street to my children.
But the thing is that she did threaten her oldest the other day, which is where that's where we're going to start drawing the boundary. And she started threatening the lives of my animals. Then this guy's going to go ugly real fast.
but I talked to you and you're going to.
Yeah, right,
the
I mean,
way.
you know,
Yeah.
like I said, I seem the bigger person to stay on the other side of the street.
Right, so,
There's gotta be a point where, you know, I think her signing these things is a great idea, because there's gonna be consequences to it.
Yeah, actually, what we should have done, as soon as we got that email, we should have asked them to fill out a complaint form. I didn't even think of that.
It's just, you know, I mean, this is
Well,
ridiculous. It's
again, I'm just
ridiculous.
trying to just get this,
Yeah.
like, try to work this thing out without making it a big issue. And
But it's a waste of the police force's time, you know what I mean? They got a hair across their ass, and you guys have to spend an hour over there talking to them about it, and they tell you the same story, and then obviously they have to come over to my house, and then it turns into, you know, an hour-long conversation over there, and, you know, so, I mean, it's just, they got better things to be doing than
and he's not
on
an
false accusation.
Right, but so do we, but this is all part of being part of a town. I mean, you know, we,
No, I do know. Okay, what I'm saying is it's half to, you know what I mean? These cops have
Yeah, we
wasted
haven't.
a 40-hour week over something that's not even true. You know, and I don't know what they get paid per week, but I'm just saying it's a waste. There's something needs to, you know, it's about time that it's just, you know, I mean, it's over with.
Okay. Anything further on that issue?
Good.
All right. Where were we here? Okay, that's the end of old business. Under new business, flowers for Marcy. Marcy's father passed away.
We did.
And,
last Wednesday.
so I assume this item on the agenda means that we're going to send flowers to the funeral. I think we should.
Yes.
I don't even know what they cost these days. Any ideas?
A funeral piece will be $100 or more.
100?
Yeah.
Doesn't make much of a difference, does it?
no.
You know,
Well, I just want to
No, we have
motion.
to decide on
I
an
have
amount for
to, I
the
have to put an
budget.
amount in the motion.
Yeah, we just can't do it without an amount.
Yeah. All right. So,
If you're fine with that, Alissa?
who's going to take care of making the arrangements? Will you do that?
We will, yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we do this? I move that we authorize Alissa to spend up to $150 for an appropriate flower arrangement
Okay, I
for
second.
Marcy's father.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Notice of public hearing, notice approval. Find that in here. This is for the public hearing next week on the exhaust brake ordinance.
Is that hearing will be here?
It will be.
What's the hearing on? First I heard about it.
Oh,
and if it has something to
the-
do with.
Our plan is to repeal all existing Jake brake ordinances.
Oh, I see.
Because the NHMA attorneys, well, first of all, the DOT says they won't put the signs up unless we accept liability if anything happens. NHMA attorneys say, do not do that. And the insurance representative from Primex says, even if you don't do that, just having these ordinances on the books could make you liable. So we're just going to wipe it clean.
But you can feel free to pull over any tractor trailer truck that's speeding through town and give them the heaviest
Well,
fine that you can possibly
that's
use.
just common sense, that we're gonna stop people for speeding, whether it's a truck or a car. So that's a statement that happens anyway.
And it's unrelated to this
Okay, but
ordinance.
not everyone, because we can only be in one place at one time. Well, when there's two of us on during the day, maybe two people in one place, but I'm in the station doing paperwork, and maybe Nick's out there catching them.
Well, I can
We're
say
catching
one
other
thing,
things.
the truckers that are coming down the hill now from West Hill are really respectful.
Mhm.
Once in a great while, you'll have a truck that'll use their brakes. But there's a reason. It's because of the weight that's on that truck.
Right.
You know, but the trucks that are hauling chips, these guys are.
And is it in the middle of the
There's
night?
trucks that small, no,
No.
during the day. But there are trucks, 1-ton trucks or 3/4-ton trucks that go up that are louder than the trucks that are going down the
Just
hill.
their 8-inch stack.
Yeah. No, these guys have been really good.
Anytime anybody wants to buy me a decimal meter, I'll be glad to enforce decimal meters.
That's an app for your phone. You can download it for free.
That's not accurate.
But it's not
enough.
certified,
That would
yeah.
be certified.
We
Yeah.
stand up in court, right.
Right.
So, but I'm all for that if you want to get it.
get a megaphone so you can drown it out.
Okay, any questions on the proposed public hearing for next week? Okay. Email from Terry Knowles and Aaron, we've discussed. Email from Norm.
That was the renovator one you asked.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I wasn't sure who it was from because it didn't have your name on it. I didn't know who Renovator was.
Which email?
Okay, let's see. At the planning board meeting, Curtis said they don't have a building permit, but they are framing on a new foundation today. I have seen both Brad and Dan Furman there. Assume project belongs to one of them. That's really not clear as to what you're talking about
Is
here.
that Brad's property or is that
No.
Langevin property?
Can you, what do you say, it's electronic, what's he own?
Langevin is the one on the
Langevin?
corner of County Lane and Old Marble Road.
He's all set.
He's all set, okay? That's the one that he came in, he put a building permit to build an attachment to the existing structure. That got approved, it went to the planning board, it got approved, because he was still meeting all the setbacks. There was a little mess up between, conversation with Alissa and them about, okaying because the old building wasn't savable. So we demolished the whole thing and thought he was okay about just putting in a new foundation, a new structure and all that. Once that was brought to our attention, the planning board, I went over there, I talked to him, I said that you need a demolition permit and you need a new construction permit. So he came back, applied for it, gave us a new plot plan. It's the same building on the same footprint with the addition. We brought it back to the planning board. They were okay with it because they still met the setbacks. The only thing that was in question was the driveway. If he's gonna change the driveway access, that's onto Old Marble Road, it's a state road. He has to go get a state permit. Now, the property off to the right of it, where it was that big hump there, he knocked that down and leveled it, not for a driveway, but to make it easier so when he plows off a county road. So he can push everything off to, if you're looking at the house from Marble Road, to the left into the tree line. That's what his intentions are, and that's what, as long as he stays with it. Later on, if he decides that he's gonna change or expand this driveway, he has to go to the state and get a permit for that.
All right.
But he's been okayed by that, his permit's good, everything with the planning board, even with Carol Ogilvy. She said the only thing, as long as he meets the setback, which it was already pre-approved from before.
Does that answer your question, Mark?
Yeah, I just see him with Brad Hunter there hauling dirt away, that he was part of that.
All right.
That
Well,
picture.
we're gonna skip ahead in the agenda here because we have a complaint here about Benjamin.
Yeah, that one right there was a last minute thing that just came in with the planning board.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out what was going on.
Let me read what it says here. This is from George Madeline. It says, and he really doesn't complain, he just makes a statement here. A non-conforming structure has the right to exist, but cannot be altered to increase the size of the building in a non-conforming lot, making the lot more non-conforming. This sets a dangerous non-conforming precedent for the town. This is see attached and highway zoning regs. And he's got a diagram here, which doesn't really tell us much.
It's the same size as the previous building, correct?
I'm not really sure.
Not the previous building.
Yeah.
When he came in, he was originally gonna add to, put an
Right.
addition on it. So we brought it to the planning board and they said, yeah, he's still meeting the setbacks. That was the
Right.
only thing that they really had an issue with, is to meeting the setbacks. Because it's not a business, it's residential. So we brought it back, then the miscommunication, he took out the old plan, the whole building.
Right.
And was putting
Digging
us,
a foundation.
and putting the same building on the original platform, but moving it 1 foot away from the road. So he's even meeting the setbacks even more, because he was just making it parallel to the road, to include the addition of it. So when we signed the permit, it was
Right.
the new construction with the existing,
With the new structure.
with the new structure,
Right.
the addition added to it.
All right, now George has highlighted some things in here. Let me read what he highlighted.
Yep.
Okay, all non-conforming properties in active use when an interim ordinance is passed and adopted may continue indefinitely in their present use. Providing, however, that any such expansion, I skipped a part that wasn't highlighted, does not make any existing conforming structure non-conforming within the terms of the interim ordinance. And that's not what he's saying in his complaint.
Right.
He's saying that a
Thanks.
non-conforming building was being added to a whatever he's saying. It doesn't match what the ordinance says. It says, nor shall the use of such property be materially altered in purpose, which I don't believe it is. So
It's not changing the use, it's
Yeah.
still being in the residential.
Yeah.
And we asked Carol, and Carol, she spent several minutes on this and several going through her book back and forth like she normally does, checking all our ordinances. Henry was checking through as well. And as long as he's meeting the setbacks,
All right, then I'll
they are good.
I'll put a letter together for George to respond to his complaint.
And
Bring it in next week.
okay, because another thing, caveat off of that, George actually showed up to Bobby Lupa's house and started cussing him out about this. It is not George's position or responsibility to show up at planning board members' houses and complain about this. So when you do write up that letter, can there be something along the line that is not his position to be cussing out anybody, any town?
Well, we'll put a
If they
little
have an
more.
issue, just come to a meeting.
They need to come to the selectmen if there's an issue.
All right,
in other
we're
words-
discussing this. We'll do
All
it
right.
a little more politely than that, but we
Yeah,
will do it.
I'm Mr. Tack, remember?
Okay, I'm Mr. Untapped.
I know.
I'm very
We're
blunt.
good balance here.
Because he called me up and he told me about, George called me up and told me about his concern. I let him know. I let him know that all the people that are on the board agreed to this. He went instantly, got on the phone and took off. And then Bobby called me up and started cussing me out. Why am I using his name? I was like, that's not what I said, first of all. So there was a big miscommunication
this?
thing. This was Friday.
Friday, what was the date? The 7th?
That's Friday, which is
Seven,
seven.
seven.
Yeah, this is dated the 5th, so he
That
filled
was
this
the
out.
planning board met that same day because Bobby
Okay.
Lupa came in that day and with us, and we had a big discussion about it, and it's going to be in our minutes if you go in for the planning board. It's all in our minutes that we discussed it, and everything was good. And then Friday he called me up in the morning, cussing up a storm, and George was saying all sorts of things. Oh yeah, it was very heated, but it's not up to town residents to come up to town employees and yell, threaten, complain, or anything like that. There's policies and procedures in place.
Yeah,
There's a complaint form you need to fill out
which he did.
about, well, he was
Okay.
saying that.
Yeah. All right, I'll include all of that in my letter.
Thank you.
All right, let's see.
On the driveway thing, now there used to be a driveway there, so you have to get another driveway permit?
For
Only
Off
if
the
he
Marlboro
changed
Road?
it.
only if he's
Oh,
changing.
puts it in a
Because
different
while
spot?
we went and
Because it was
visited
on
him,
the-
and he's
Right.
thinking about changing to make the whole thing a driveway,
Oh,
we told him, if you do that, you have to go to the state.
oh, okay.
We told him, just leave it like it is for now, worry about it later.
He's got to stay with the existing driveway, is a key thing. But he wanted to flatten the whole yard, wanted to make it easier to plow because it was a big hump on the right-hand side next to County Lane, and then on the left-hand side, there was really no place to put the snow. If anything, he's making it easier for the state when they push the snow into him to get it off of his property and push it, into the tree line. It's less of an issue. And then people coming off a county road don't have to worry about, going right into traffic because there's snow piled up right there. So,
Okay. All right, next item, letter from the New Hampshire Land Surveyors Association. This is actually addressed to you, Bob, thanking you for your hospitality when they held their recent meeting there. Do you have a copy of this?
Yeah.
go Bob.
Got an email from Marge. She was at our meeting last week. Let's find that. This concerns let me read what it says. Hi everyone, I'm passing on this request to sign a petition on behalf of your select board or group asking for funding for public participation at FERC. I'm not sure what that stands for. Too often FERC approves large energy projects without taking into account the wishes of the local towns and citizens that will be affected by them. The energy picture is changing rapidly and it's no longer a given that we need more fossil fuel plants, pipelines, etc. Please consider adding your voice to that of the sponsors, including Senator Shaheen and Representative Custer. And then there's a copy of a letter that we could send.
FERC is Federal Energy Regulatory Commission.
Ah, okay. Okay, nowhere in the correspondence did it spell that out, so thank you. Okay, let me read what the proposed letter says. It says, "Dear," and I guess that's where you'd put in the name of whoever you're sending somebody in Congress. Please join the effort Barely. Would you read that, please?
Sure.
My vision is not returned to normal yet.
Please join the effort to rein in FERC's abuses of power over our citizens, communities, states, and law. In spite of its words, the actual denial of our rights to protect our environment, natural resources, public health must be stopped. Thanks to the initiative of several U.S. senators, House representatives, we now have an opportunity to bring the eyes and voice of the public into FERC's proceedings. The Public Engagement at FERC Act is a legislative bill designed to put an end to their complete lack of transparency, with their decisions conducted in cloistered proceedings, recognizing only the views of the giants of the energy industry without any representation of the real needs and concerns of the, I think it's supposed to say public or state of our climate and the health of our environment. The bill is sponsored by Shaheen Skakowski.
I don't know.
Okay, co-sponsored by Elizabeth Warren, Al Franken, Bernie Sanders, along with Rep. Custer and other members of both House and Senate. And it just tells us here how we can help to fund the Office of Public Participation and for FERC to provide a consumer advocate and a committee at FERC to advance mechanisms for public input and representation, to provide funding for intervenor status for small businesses and communities impacted by the decision-making process, and more, and it gives us a website to go to.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, thanks. So I guess what Marge is asking us to do is to send a letter
To advocate our position.
Still trying to figure out who it goes to.
There's a list at the very end of it.
Oh, okay. Members of the Energy and Commerce Committee and Energy and Natural Resources Committees. So these are the committee chairs in Congress, okay. I guess what she wants us to do is to send a letter to all four of these people on behalf of the Select Board.
Correct.
How do you feel about that, Barb?
I don't know, it would probably be, how does everybody in this room feel? Does anybody have?
Well, I'm getting to that. I'm going to ask you first.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I really am not.
Curtis?
I'm with Barbara. I'm
Yeah.
open to
Yeah.
suggestions.
I feel the same. I don't know enough about the issue
That's correct.
to,
Make an opinion.
exactly. So I think we should just pass on this.
Okay,
You okay with
I
that?
second that motion.
Wasn't a motion, but fine,
I know.
okay. So we'll take no action on that. Okay, we did 56 Marlborough Road, that was the George Madela thing. A letter from Attorney Little on TRG. Say again?
We went over
Yeah, we
that.
did, okay. And prior to the meeting, Dave, we talked about cameras. So were you going to bring that up?
Yes. Cameras for town hall. I'm suggesting that we purchase some for the inside of the town hall because several times now it's been brought to our attention that the door on the left-hand side going out, coming in on the right-hand side has been left unlocked and unsecured, and apparently the Selectman's office has been left open and nobody knows why, when it's constantly being checked to be maintained closed, and because of the kind of documents that are in this office. Said $250 can get us.
I'll
or
look
you
it
can get a
up,
quote.
like I say, I'll look up and get a bunch of quotes on different, but I think 4 of them would be fine. And that comes with the DVR and stuff, and I'll come in with the cost of it.
Okay, great. So we'll table that till next
It's something we
week?
can do ourselves, it's very simple to put in.
We can table it
Yeah.
till next
All
week.
right, good, okay.
Um,
And that brings us to the end of our agenda. Barbara, do you have anything else for us?
The dam,
Okay.
I heard from a Corey Clark today. And right now where we stand is your children may have a chance. Simply because we do have that pond, when the dam was put in, if it had 10 acres, it is under state authority forever. It is over 10 acres.
Nice. We're
So-
talking about Rockwood, by the way. Rockwood Pond.
No,
Okay, so we have more people to talk to here. A Mark Stevens, and he's a land agent for the Dam Bureau. But there are 3 different types of ponds. There's natural, there's raised natural pond, and there's artificial impoundment. We are number 2. We are a raised natural pond. And they put in the dam just to raise the water height. That was it. When what's his name, the Preservation Society, okay, for Rockwood Pond, when they did the new dam, we still cannot find a license, and we have to find that license. DES has no record of it still. They looked for a week, they cannot find it. So now the Dam Bureau is looking for it. With Rockwood Pond right now is like a hot.
You said we have to find a license. That's not
Well-
that we have to find a
Well,
license.
yes, as a people.
So if we don't find a license, we're good?
If we don't find a license, then Jimmy may have some say-so about lowering of the water table, okay?
At
But we
Rockwood?
can, yes,
To raise it in the sand dam.
By lowering
Because
the
we're-
gates there,
To
that's
flush
whole
sand
water.
dam out once in a while.
okay, right now, we have no control, right now. They do have control of the dam at the moment, but have no control over the water. Okay, so, the children may be able to swim, okay? We have
At
to,
our pond, or at Rockwood.
at Rockwood.
So that's a separate issue.
Right,
Right.
well, it is a separate issue, but I talked to the same people about both things.
Oh, okay. all right.
Okay, so the dam is a no-go for right
Okay.
now.
I guarantee you, the kids at summer camp can swim in Rockwood Pond, and there's nobody in Fitzwilliam can do anything about it.
Right, but we have to legally have permission to do that, so they do not throw Bob and his
but
children
the
No.
out.
swimming wasn't
No,
at the dam.
no.
Well,
Jim,
they'll
I
tell,
thought you went down further, Robert.
The entire west side of Rockwood Pond is state property.
correct,
If they approach it from state property, they can use the pond. It's just, who owns the pond?
nobody owns.
That's, well, it's the state does, essentially. If you own a piece of land and there's a pond on your property, and
Right.
you own 100% of the land surrounding it, then you own the pond. Split the ownership and the pond becomes public
Well, they have
access.
riparian rights, but they don't own the water.
Right, they can prevent us
They have
from going
access.
through their property to get to the pond,
Correct.
but they can't stop us from going up from the trail
From the
side.
state.
Yeah.
And I asked that today, and he had said today
You were right at the.
that we should not try and make access until we're completely through this. We're getting emails as of the end of the week.
Okay, all right.
Okay, but we don't want to put them in jeopardy again.
I don't think they are.
I know, but she will come out and ask them to remove themselves. He
And
doesn't
then they
want to.
very politely decline.
Well, I know, but it could turn into an argument. It could turn into a call to him. Let's
No,
not make
because
it.
William Chief would be the problem.
Well, whoever. Yeah, whoever it is, let's not make it a
All
bigger
right,
issue than
all
it
right.
is.
At one time, Troy Mills had all the rights to the
Correct.
dams.
Yes, you are correct about
Raise
that.
and lower.
Yeah,
Because
but,
every time we used to clean sand dam, we used to
And
get
call
Cal
Mill.
Patton, call Cal Patton. Cal would come down, we would lower it,
and
we
we,
would
yeah,
clean
we
it out.
can't do that
Year after
anymore.
year after year.
Right. Well, once they took over, right now we don't have that option, but we will have others, I hope.
All right.
Okay, this is an ongoing situation. That's it.
Okay, anything else?
No.
Curtis?
Yes, I got a follow-up from the budget committee.
Yep.
They got the schedule
Yep.
updated for everyone, and I just, Alissa, you didn't get that sent to you? No? Okay, I just sent it to you then, what Lisa Stern sent me. Basically, all we're doing is moving the recreation department from, of course I dribbled all over it and screwed up. October 9th to October 2nd, so you're gonna be with the Emergency Management, Zoning Board of Adjustment, and the Planning Board. in that same time frame. That was the only one that
Alright.
was on the holiday. And they said that's good. It's also in your email. That's what we're gonna go with, and then you can post it on the website.
Okay,
Okay,
is this
so-
actually a final? This is
So
like
that
a
week
fifth or
of
sixth
Columbus Day,
one?
we're just, the select board will not meet with anybody. But that was my only concern with the
October
holiday.
12th?
Well, that's the Bud
Oh,
Cup.
and then October 2nd.
Right,
If
but
we
the
just-
9th would be the holiday.
Right, the
So,
9th, we're not gonna meet with anyone.
Super, okay.
If
So-
we're agreement with that.
Is this the only copy you have?
No, I just sent it to Alissa.
Okay,
So,
with the corrections?
Is that the date?
yes.
I don't know.
Alyssa,
Yeah, you're
Wait
not
a
sure, are
minute,
you?
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
When
When
does
is,
the police department go in? Because I'm gone from the October 27th, 7 days.
Police department, October 23rd
Oh.
is with the select board to November 2nd with the budget committee.
uh-oh.
Police revenue offset, October 23rd, November 2nd, same time frame.
Yeah, everything that you had is the same dates, but are you back for November 3rd?
I don't know.
November
That's the
2nd.
Seventh day.
Huh?
I'm
The
sorry.
second, November 2nd is the 7th day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be back. All right.
Okay,
All right?
all right.
It
Alyssa,
just-
would you send that to me
Well,
so I can put it on the website?
Send it to all of us, or Barbara too, so she has it. I already have it. I sent it to you, so. Anyway. So the budget committee was asking about a mailbox out in here. Looks like everyone else has one, but the budget committee.
The budget committee didn't have one in the past because they weren't meeting in this building.
Right.
And it was just not convenient for them. Plus, what I used to do, or Gideon before me, we would just bring whatever they needed.
Right. So they're asking, since they're meeting here,
Mhm.
if they can have one. Lisa's asking, so if we can get her one. And any quarterly budgets for all departments and for the selectmen. Can we get those printed out so we can start going for those? And Lisa wants those for the budget committee as well, the quarterly ones, so we can just see where they are on track and everything and see what's going on.
I'd like a copy of the budget too, Alyssa.
Well, it's for the selectmen as well, just so we can see what's going on. For every department, we can see if we're going over. Because I don't know if one of us was chosen to do it quarterly. Are we
Do
looking
what
at
quarterly?
any of the budgets quarterly? Like if,
I've been looking at it monthly
oh, okay.
Yeah.
For everyone or just the selectmen's?
for the entire budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
That's why I was asking.
Okay, I didn't
That's
know
why I
that.
was grinning when I asked for it, because I asked for it last week and didn't get it.
Yeah, so, because they were asking, it's like, well, I don't get it, so I don't know if one of us was actually designated to do it. And I said, I think you are. I wasn't really sure, so if you
Well,
are, I'll let them know.
I'm
that
looking
you
at
are.
it every month because I'm trying to track it because we have a couple of issues in there that we have to watch very closely.
Right, well, it actually says in the, somewhere, they actually read it, that one of us are supposed to be designated to actually do that.
Or I'm designated.
Okay. All in favor, aye. So, okay, and I guess when, as they're listening to the minutes and everything, or not listening to minutes, that if we're together, if two of us or more are together, and we're discussing town business, we need to make sure it's posted and their minutes are taken because we have a quorum.
Mhm.
So
We
we have
already
to,
do that.
we have to make sure we're definitely careful that if we're discussing
Yeah.
town business.
We knew that. Yeah, we're good.
So we just need to make
You
sure,
and I are good.
so,
Yeah, that never happens.
Nope.
and in the letter for the terms for the rec committee, did you get that letter yet? So I can swear at people? I mean,
Barb,
swear
see, this is
people
what I
in?
was asking you about last week.
Okay, here it is, right here. This is what you need to do. Each person on the committee, when you swear them in, before you swear them in, just like you filled out your elected position, these are appointed positions.
Mhm.
Each person fills it out. You give them the oath, and you're done. These go to Marcy. Marcy will sign. They're filed in there, and they keep track of everybody's
Right, but I thought we were waiting last week for a letter from
Letter of
Melissa.
appointment.
letter.
Letter of appointments?
That's what I asked you about. And you said, no, that we have this form.
Okay, what's the letter of appointments? What
You
are
are hereby appointed to the Recreation Committee for a term of blank years.
Yeah, that's what this is.
That's not what that is. That's the oath
You-
form.
Right, and this is all they need. So you
last week-
found that, no, I never said anything about that.
Well, in the past, what we have done I don't know if we were swearing people in, but we have issued a letter. I'm not sure that it's required by statute. But the
Oh, I
letter
never
said
did that.
you are hereby appointed to the Recreation Committee or the Conservation Commission or something else.
Oh, I've never been here since you did that.
Yeah, you
We
used
were
to see the
discussing
letter.
it.
Oh, so you're the only one that saw the
I
letter?
believe all three of us signed it, but it was, you know, at the beginning
For
of the
who
meeting,
was
it's in a
appointed?
stack of things that you're signing, and you just
Okay.
There
forgot.
should be copies somewhere, shouldn't there?
Okay.
But I'm not sure that it's required. I'm just saying that's what we've done.
Oh, okay.
So-
So I don't know that it's required. You are a statutory committee,
Right, we
okay?
looked it up in the RSA's and we found out that the only ones that have to be on a yearly basis are the one-year term people, the chair, the treasurer, and the secretary. Those three positions.
Right, but everybody
So
needs to
everyone
be
needs the paper.
sworn
We were
in.
waiting for
Yeah.
a letter from somebody, and that's why this wasn't done yet. So if we're saying we don't need this letter now,
Do we need this letter? Does anybody know? Is it in, did you read your statute?
I did. I didn't see anything about this letter. That's why I
Okay.
was waiting on what
All
we were
right.
talking about.
Then the letter is, we've always done it that way.
Okay. So,
And that was a good time to
So
stop.
do that. That's what's necessary
our
by
next
the
meeting,
statute.
can you put that
is
on the agenda so we can get this taken care of, Bob?
When's our next meeting?
So make,
Next Tuesday.
so make copies before you leave.
Yep.
One for everybody, and make everybody turn it in, or, well, you can turn it in. One person. Bob, you're in here, what, once a week at least?
You don't have to swear in front of her?
I
Well-
did.
Well, you can be sworn in by the town clerk, by any selectman, or a justice of the peace, or the town moderator.
So, I guess that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been done. Not really, but Marcy has always done it. But you don't have to be
No,
sworn in. You're
Marcy
sworn
didn't
in
swear
already.
Curtis in, I did.
Right. He's sworn in.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. Because Allan's on our committee and he didn't swear in with us. We were all
We're
sworn.
not a statutory committee.
We're a non-statutory, but we still, they suggest
All right.
that we do it, so we did it.
That form doesn't say JP or notary?
No, it does not.
Sworn in by signature.
Well, the statute says who can swear in.
So whoever, so if Curtis swears them in, he just needs to sign.
Yeah.
And
And
he can
then
swear.
hit turn in to the clerk's office.
I won't, but I can.
Anything else, Curtis?
No, not this time.
Okay. Kyle?
I'm good.
Kathy? Steve?
I just have one question.
Sure.
Inquiring minds. The rent from DocuShed, where does that go?
Their lawyer told them to put it into an escrow account until this gets settled.
DocuShed itself?
Yeah.
Okay,
So as far as we know, that's where the money is sitting.
thank you.
At least we hope that's where the
Yeah.
money
Yeah,
is sitting.
really, yeah.
Norm? Bob? Anything else? You're gonna stick around?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Alyssa? Adam? Chief?
And what about for the guy that's renting the upstairs up down there?
Don't know.
As of right now, we have to wait until the TRG
We just know where the big
gets
money is.
formulated again.
I'm gonna put a hat out by his door.
So, do we want to do something about a request about the TRG, since we got the majority of the board members that are, do we want to put something in the, online or something, that if anybody wants to be part of the TRG, so we can appoint?
No,
wanna move on that?
I don't think you're gonna get
No,
anybody
you don't want,
pretty
no.
picture. You
Yeah,
need
that's
to
not-
call people, you need to decide who you want and then call them and ask them.
Okay.
So maybe what we need to do is to set up a meeting with the select board, and this will be at one of our meetings, and whoever is left, which is at this point Mike Walsh
Mike Walsh.
and maybe Michael Stedman.
Possible, yes.
And Michael Stedman was the treasurer, so he may still have
The books.
whatever books they need. Which we, if he doesn't want to be in it, we need to get that from him.
Okay.
All right. So why don't we plan on doing that 2 weeks from tonight? Because I think next week we've just about got a full house now.
So you, Alyssa, you gonna call Mike in? See
Mike
if
and
he can come
Michael.
to that? Mike and Mike, yes.
I'll try. I could never get a hold of him, but sure, I'll try.
Mike Walsh and Mike Stedman?
Yep.
Or- I think I know it.
Hmm?
Mike Walsh seems to he calls me back when I call him, so I can call him out.
Okay.
Try with him as well, so we can try to tag team it.
So you want me to call which Mike?
Well, do both, but I'll also call Mike Walsh. I don't have Mike Stedman's number. But I know Mike Walsh, he seems to be calling me back when I call him, and he answers the phone when I call him, so I think we can both. If you do not get through, I'll attempt this week. And I wrote it down.
Don't lose it.
And what's 2 weeks from now? The date?
Okay, it looks like we've covered everything we need to cover in our public session. So we'll take about a 3-minute break and then we'll reconvene for our non-public session under the provisions of RSA.
Can we run that AC for 3 minutes, please?
I can't hear you.
I second.
I third.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
All right,
There's no motion on the floor.
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Do you want to call Jane up for this 10 signs? Find out if they're going to be for free and work that?
Thank you, guys.
And work that?
Is this chair stay here?
It's
Yes,
just,
someone does. Thank you.
this week is one of my busy weeks for being in the military. So if I wait until next week, it'll be a lot easier, but I think by next week it's going to be probably forgotten about.
I'll get it.
Okay. I move that we go into non-public session under the provisions of 91A, :3, Roman numeral 2, small a, to discuss the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplining of such employee, or the investigation of any charges against him or her.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are in non-public session at 8:19 p.m. Then I move that we return to public session at 8:32 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're back in public session at 8:32 p.m. I move that we adjourn the meeting at 8:32 p.m.
No. Seal
Wait a
the
minute.
minutes.
What?
Seal the minutes of I propose we seal the minutes of the closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes of the closed session are sealed. Move that we adjourn the meeting at 8:33 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.